Geeks with beards, geeks with beards. Look who's here, geeks with beards. No need to fear, we're right here. We got beards, so listen clear. Geeks with beards, geeks with beards.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Dan's Comic Corner. And today we're going to be looking at Dark Horse Comics' Masters of the Universe, The Sword of Flaws, Part 1. This originally was going to only be a 4-part mini-series, but they've decided to make it an ongoing series after these 4 issues, wrap up the story that they're trying to tell. And it's pretty cool, too. They're going to kind of do like how Jim Lee did with the Wildcats. They're going to just continue the numbering, 5, 6, and so on. At least that's what I read. It may change. We'll find out. But, yeah, this is a great comic book. It's the first Masters of the Universe comic I've picked up since probably the DC stuff. I didn't really do the Revelations comics. I think Dark Horse was doing those well. But this one goes kind of back to, kind of the 80s cartoon in a way. It's written by Tim Seeley. Artwork is done by Freddie E. Williams II. And if anybody knows, Tim Seeley has done almost, if not a majority of all the comics that DC Comics did when they had the rights. So he's just carried himself on over here to Dark Horse to do this book. Give you a little shot of the inside here. Like I said again, we got the credits page. Let you know who does what in here. And then we open up here. We've got Eternia, Eterno City. We've got Manny Faces and Orko kind of doing a little show for the king and queen. And we have somebody here talking about, Eterno City and how great the kingdom is and everything. And we find out that it is Prince Stahl. Now, I'm not familiar with this character. He might have been in the other books. I just don't remember. But he's another prince on the planet Eternia. And him and Adam are having kind of talks between the kingdoms. Between Eternos and his kingdom. And because I think they say at the end of this that there are tensions between the two kingdoms. And basically, Prince Stahl is saying, hey, you're weak, Adam. You guys and your kingdom depend on He-Man, this champion of the barbaric stone tribe, to come in here and handle all your problems. You're the prince. You should be able to handle some of these problems on your own. And on Adam's of course, he plays the buffoon, as he's supposed to be. And he gives a little story, the alien warlord Skeletor and Hordak. Then King Hiss comes back from history, and he's like, my own father, King Faust of Eisenhold. So that's the other kingdom. So he's basically just kind of shit talking Prince Adam. And, Adam's kind of like, oh, these sandwiches are good, And then boom, it's like an earthquake, but it's not an earthquake. It's a new machine that Skeletor has created. And he is drilling underneath Castle Grayskull. Well, of course he is. Because he's always wanted Castle Grayskull and its secrets. So, it's just beautiful artwork too. So basically this story is he's trying to break into Castle Grayskull with this new drilling machine. And in the process, he's going to basically almost destroy the planet with what he's doing. Because he's burrowing underneath, And the sorceress has put a shield up trying to protect Grayskull and do what she can. But she tells He-Man, she's like, you need to get here as fast as you can. I don't know how long I can hold this. And I can feel the pain of the Evergreen Forest and the other areas on Eternia. They're wincing in pain. They're crying in pain. And He-Man's trying to hold up, these boulders and stuff to try to save people. And of course, the other masters are fighting Skeletor's other soldiers. And then we see that ends up being Man-at-Arms, who shuts the machine down. He uses Triclops. He basically plugs into Triclops at the back of his head, his visor, because everybody knows Triclops has the different visions he can use. So Man-at-Arms basically plugs into Triclops' visor and uses it as an X-ray so he can see the battery component of the device that Skeletor is using to drill to shut it down. And he does. He shuts it down. So Man-at-Arms ends up being the savior. Prince Stahl, earlier, after Skeletor's kind of knocked out the machine, he gets in the machine. And he's like, oh, now I have the power. I can be a master of the universe too. And he messes with the machine when he shouldn't mess with it. So he kind of causes some problems too. So He-Man, they rescue him. And he's like, I had the power. You guys were afraid of me. And He-Man's like, look, that's the problem with power. It can corrupt you. If you're not willing to try to share it, So basically it ends with Adam saying, hey, I'm pretty good ambassador. I think I did pretty good. With what Prince Stahl did, his father was so embarrassed by it and upset by it that, hey, him and my dad are going to sit down and have talks, kind of de-escalate the problem that's going on between the two kingdoms. And then we end it with Mechanic using his telescopic neck to see into a mountain that kind of was damaged while the fight was going on with the machine. And he sees another sword that looks just like He-Man's power sword, but it's different. It's different colored. It's got a different kind of energy emitting from it. And they're like, oh, what is this? So that will be the titular Sword of Flaws, I'm assuming. It's a great book. I recommend anybody. Issue 2 should be coming today as of this recording in the mail for me. So yeah, I can't wait to read issue 2. I think it's going to be a great miniseries. I can't wait to see where they go with the ongoing series. So I definitely give this 2 thumbs up. I recommend Masters of the Universe, The Sword of Flaws by Dark Horse Comics. And until next time, guys, good reading.
Geeks with beards, geeks with beards. Look who's here, geeks with beards. No need to fear, we're right here. We got beards, so listen clear. Geeks with beards, geeks with beards.